One man in Africa makes more money in a single day than most people will see in their entire lifetime. His name is Aliko Dangote, and right now, he's worth over $15 billion. That makes him the richest black person on Earth, not just in Africa, on the entire planet. But here's what most people don't know. His wealth didn't come from tech, didn't come from oil, didn't come from entertainment or sports. It came from something so simple, you probably used it this morning. Cement, sugar, salt, flour, basic products, unglamorous products, but sold to 200 million people across Africa. And the truth behind how he built this empire will shock you. Over the next few minutes, you're going to discover 3 things about the Dangote family. First, how Aliko started with just a $3,000 loan and turned it into a business empire that controls entire industries. Second, the family strategy that keeps wealth growing across generations while most wealthy families lose everything. And third, the massive $19 billion project that could make him one of the richest people in the world. According to Forbes magazine and Bloomberg Billionaires Index, the Dangote family represents the largest concentration of black wealth in modern history. But it didn't start that way. Let me show you exactly how this happened. Aliko Dangote was born in 1957 in Kano, Nigeria. This is important because Nigeria in 1957 was still under British colonial rule. The country wouldn't gain independence until 1960. Young Aliko grew up in a business family. His grandfather, Sanusi Dantata, was one of the wealthiest men in West Africa. He made his fortune trading commodities like cola nuts, salt, and textiles. But here's the first surprise most people don't know. Aliko's grandfather died when Aliko was young. The family wealth was divided among many relatives. By the time it reached Aliko, there wasn't much left. So the story that Aliko inherited billions? According to his own interviews, that's false. He inherited business knowledge, connections, a network, but not massive wealth. In a 1999 interview with This Day newspaper, Aliko stated clearly, "I did not inherit money. I inherited the business culture, the business intuition, and most importantly, the network." That network mattered, because in Nigeria in the 1970s, who you knew was everything. When Aliko finished university in Egypt in 1977, when he returned to Nigeria with a plan, he wanted to trade. Just like his grandfather, he went to his uncle for help. His uncle was a successful businessman. According to multiple biographical sources, the uncle gave Aliko a loan of 500,000 naira. In 1977, that was worth about 3,000 US dollars. That was the seed money, $3,000. That's less than a used car. What did Aliko do with it? He started importing rice, sugar, and cement, basic commodities that every Nigerian needed, products with guaranteed demand. Here's the second surprise. Aliko didn't invent anything new. He didn't create a revolutionary product. He just saw a simple truth. Nigeria had 80 million people. They all needed to eat. They all needed to build houses. Someone was going to supply those products. Why not him? Within a few years, according to company records, Aliko's trading business was making serious money, millions of dollars per year. But trading had limits. You buy from someone else, you sell, you take a cut, but you never control the supply. Aliko realized something critical. Real wealth comes from production, from owning the factory, from controlling the supply chain. In the early 1980s, he made a decision that would change everything. He stopped just trading cement. He started making it. And that's when things got really interesting. In 1981, according to Nigerian corporate registration records, Aliko Dangote founded Dangote Group. The company started small, just a few trucks, a warehouse, some employees. But Aliko had a vision that nobody else saw. At the time, Nigeria imported almost everything. Cement came from Europe. Sugar came from Brazil. Flour came from America. So Nigeria produced oil, but bought everything else. This made no sense to Aliko. Nigeria had limestone for cement, had sugarcane for sugar, had wheat growing potential for flour. So why were Nigerians sending money overseas for products they could make at home? The answer was simple. Nobody had built the factories. Nobody had invested the capital. It was easier to import than to manufacture. But Aliko saw opportunity. If he could build factories in Nigeria, he could undercut the importers, sell for less, make more profit, and keep jobs in Nigeria. So he started with cement. In 2003, According to company financial reports, Dangote Cement opened its first major plant in Obajana, Nigeria. The plant cost $1 billion to build. $1 billion in a country where most people lived on less than $2 per day. People thought he was crazy. Critics said it would fail, that Nigeria couldn't produce quality cement, that nobody would buy it. They were wrong, dead wrong. Within 3 years, according to the Nigerian Stock Exchange data, Dangote Cement was the largest cement producer in Africa. Not just Nigeria, the entire continent. Today, according to the company's 2023 annual report, Dangote Cement produces 48.6 million metric tons of cement per year. That's enough cement to build over 10 million houses. The company operates in 10 African countries. Here's the mind-blowing part. According to Bloomberg data, Dangote Cement controls approximately 61% of Nigeria's cement market, more than half. One company. And cement isn't even his only business. According to Dangote Group's corporate website, the family empire includes Dangote Sugar Refinery, the largest in Africa, only producing 1.44 million metric tons per year. Dangote Flour Mills, producing wheat flour and pasta across multiple countries. Dangote Salt, dominating Nigeria's salt market. Dangote Rice, farming and processing rice locally. And Dangote Fertilizer, opened in 2022, the largest fertilizer plant in Africa. Each of these companies is a market leader, not small businesses. Massive operations employing tens of thousands of people. According to the Dangote Group's employment data, the company employs over 30,000 people directly. Some estimates suggest indirect employment exceeds 200,000 when counting suppliers, distributors, and contractors. But here's what makes this truly shocking. According to financial analysts at Renaissance Capital and other firms, roughly 85% of Dangote Group is still owned by Aliko Dangote and his immediate family. Most billionaires diversify. They sell stakes to investors. They go public and spread ownership. Not the Dangote. They keep control, keep ownership, keep the wealth inside the family. And there's a specific reason why. A family strategy that most wealthy families don't follow. Aliko Dangote has 4 children, 3 daughters and 1 son, according to Nigerian media reports. Their names are Halima Dangote, Maria Dangote, Fatima Dangote, and his son, whose name is kept private. Now here's what's fascinating. These children aren't just living off trust funds. According to Nigerian business publications, including Business Day and Naira Metrics, they're being trained to run the empire. Halima Dangote, the eldest daughter, has been particularly visible. According to her LinkedIn profile and company announcements, she serves as Executive Director of Commercial Operations at Dangote Industries. That's not a ceremonial title. According to people who work with her, cited in Nigerian business media, she manages real operations, makes real decisions, learns the business from the inside. This is the family strategy. Don't just give children money. Give them responsibility. Give them knowledge. Make them earn their position. According to research by the Williams Group Wealth Consultancy, 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the 2nd generation. By the 3rd generation, 90% have lost it all. Why? Because the children don't know how to create wealth. They only know how to spend it. The Dangote family is doing the opposite. For according to Aliko's own statements in a 2018 interview with Africa Report magazine, I am grooming my children not to depend on me. They need to understand the business. They need to know how to create value. This matters because Aliko is now 67 years old. What happens to $15 billion when he's gone? Does it get split up? Wasted? Fought over? Not if the children know how to run the businesses. Not if they understand operations, markets, and strategy. But there's another layer to the family wealth strategy. According to corporate structure analysis, the Dangote family has set up their businesses in a very specific way. Everything feeds back into the core holding company. Profits from cement go back into the group. Profits from sugar go back into the group. Instead of taking all the money out, they reinvest it into new projects. This is how the wealth compounds. According to the Dangote Group's financial statements filed with regulators, the company reinvests approximately 60 to 70% of profits back into expansion and new projects. Over 20 years, that creates exponential growth. And now, the family is making their biggest bet yet. A bet so massive it could double their wealth if it succeeds. Right now, on the outskirts of Lagos, Nigeria, something massive is being built. It's called the Dangote refinery, and according to project specifications, it's the largest single-train petroleum refinery in the world. Let me put this in perspective. This isn't just big, this is history-making big. According to the official project data, the Dangote refinery has a capacity of 650,000 barrels of crude oil per day. For comparison, according to U.S. Energy Information Administration data, the largest refinery in the United States processes about 607,000 barrels per day. The Dangote refinery is bigger. According to project cost disclosures, this refinery cost approximately $19 billion to build. $19 billion. That's more than the GDP of 50 African countries. Construction started in 2013. It took 10 years. According to multiple reports from Reuters, Bloomberg, and Nigerian media, the refinery officially began operations in 2023. Now here's why this matters so much. Nigeria is Africa's largest oil producer. According to OPEC data, Nigeria produces about 1.5 million barrels of oil per day. But here's the crazy part. Despite producing all that oil, Nigeria imports almost all of its refined petroleum products. According to Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation data, Nigeria spends over $10 billion per year importing gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Think about that. Nigeria pumps oil out of the ground, ships it overseas, then buys it back as refined fuel at much higher prices. This makes no economic sense. It's like a farmer growing wheat, shipping it to another country to be turned into bread, then buying the bread back at 5 times the price. Aliko Dangote saw this and thought, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. If one private refinery could process Nigeria's oil domestically, it would save the country billions. It would create thousands of jobs, and whoever owned that refinery would become unimaginably wealthy. So, Aliko bet everything. According to financial disclosures, he invested most of his personal fortune into this project. He borrowed billions from international banks. This was risk on a scale rarely seen. If the refinery failed, it could bankrupt the entire Dangote group. According to economic projections from PwC Nigeria and other consulting firms, if the refinery operates at full capacity, it could generate revenue exceeding $30 billion per year. Not profit, revenue. But even with typical refinery margins of 5 to 10%, that's $1.5 to $3 billion in annual profit. For context, according to Dangote Cement's financial statements, the cement business generates about $1 billion in annual profit. This refinery could triple the family's profit generation in one project. But there's a problem. According to multiple reports from Reuters, Financial Times, and Nigerian media, the Nigerian government has been slow to support the refinery. Why? Because the government has subsidized fuel prices for decades. Nigerians expect cheap fuel. It's politically sensitive. If the Dangote refinery sells fuel at international market prices, it might be more expensive than the subsidized imports. According to economic analysts, this creates a dilemma. The refinery makes economic sense, but it faces political challenges. As of mid-2024, according to news reports, negotiations continue between Dangote and the Nigerian government about pricing, supply agreements, and regulatory issues. The outcome will determine whether this $19 billion bet pays off or becomes a massively expensive problem. But according to energy industry analysts, the long-term trend is clear. Nigeria cannot afford to subsidize fuel forever. Eventually, the country will need domestic refining capacity, and when that happens, the Dangote refinery will be positioned to dominate. Here's why the Dangote family story matters, even if you're not in Africa. First, it destroys the myth that you need to be in tech or finance to build massive wealth. According to global billionaire data from Forbes and Bloomberg, most new billionaires in the 2000s came from technology. But the Dangote story proves something different. Basic products, essential products, products people need every single day. These can build wealth too. Cement, sugar, salt, flour, fuel. Not glamorous, not exciting, but necessary. Technology is exciting, but it's also risky. Most tech startups fail. But a cement factory, if you're the only one supplying 200 million people, you're going to make money. Second, the Dangote story shows the importance of owning production, not just trading. Aliko started as a trader, but he didn't stay there. He moved upstream. He built factories, controlled raw materials, dominated distribution. According to Dangote Group's business model, they control limestone quarries for cement, sugarcane plantations for sugar, distribution networks across Africa. This vertical integration means they capture more of the value chain. Third, the family's approach to wealth transfer is a model for generational wealth. According to estate planning research, most wealthy families fail to maintain wealth because they don't prepare the next generation. The Dangote approach is different. Children work in the business from young ages. They start in operational roles. They learn from the bottom up. At 67 years old, according to his recent interviews, Aliko has more projects planned: a petrochemical plant, agricultural projects, mining operations. Why? He's already worth $15 billion. And why keep building? According to his own words in a 2022 interview with CNN, "This is not about me anymore. This is about Africa. This is about proving that Africans can build world-class industries, that we don't need to depend on the West or China for everything." According to economic data from the African Development Bank, the Dangote Group's investments have created over 30,000 direct jobs, created over 200,000 indirect jobs, saved Nigeria billions in import costs, and trained thousands of African engineers and managers. This is legacy. This is impact. The Dangote family's wealth isn't just sitting in a bank account. According to their asset allocation, most wealth is in operating companies. Those companies produce essential goods. Those goods serve millions of people. This creates a cycle. Wealth creates jobs. Jobs create customers. And customers buy products. Products generate profits. Profits create more wealth. One family, one vision, executed over 40 years. Now the richest black family in the world, and still building. So what can you learn from this? Start with what people need, not what's trendy. Build real things, not just trade them. Scale as big as your market allows. Keep ownership in the family. Prepare the next generation. Take calculated risks on massive opportunities. Think in decades, not years. Build legacy, not just wealth. These are the principles that took one man from a $3,000 loan to $15 billion, from a small trading business to the largest industrial conglomerate in Africa, from being just another businessman to being the richest black person on earth. The Dangote family changed what's possible. They proved that Africans can build global-scale businesses, that black wealth can reach the highest levels, and they're not slowing down. The question now is, who's next?